Fucking damn it! Everyone will recognize me with this brand.
God grant you health.
God be with you. Where did you get that new name?
Why don't you go somewhere else? For good,
Feel
ideally.
free. You're no longer in mortal danger.
Christ, you again?
You must be the...
That's right. At least them that can speak. Greetings, Henry.
I hear there was a murder here recently.
True. True. She's like...
Another?
People ain't got no respect. As soon as news spread about what was done, so if you ain't one of them gawkers, you must be one of them other types. Well, no, you can't...
I don't want to take anything. I need to...
Like what,
Who killed her?
Why?
Someone killed the poor girl. You can't just let the murderer get away with it, can you?
Well, what do you plan on...
Find out who did it and bring him to justice.
Well, if that's the way it is, and you really want to help them... It's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't...
Who's this Lumiere?
No.
Help.
Well...
Right.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases.
And who is this Lumiere?
He used to work for the local bailiff. I think he knew the first one what was...
Do you remember how many girls...
You mean you don't know nothing about it? Here he...
I haven't been in Kuttenberg.
I see. There's been one...
Do you know where the last one got...
I heard some talk about it when they brought...
Look for clues.
That can help you.
That's worth a try.
I heard she was killed by the town walls, close to the whole...
Thanks. What's this Lumiere?
Well, like I told you, he used to...
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle. Though I've never heard...
Well, the old but Lumiere, he was quite helpful.
I'd like to speak with Lumiere.
At his home in Bohemia Street, that's near the church. I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the...
Thanks.
It's my pleasure, especially helping someone from the land of the living. Actually, speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that. I think her name is...
And do you know where I could find her?
She said she serves in one of the burgers' houses. So either there...
Thanks again, Master.
Oh, aye. Farewell.
So, that's my God. Oh, they ripped open her entire... It must have been buckets. Anyway. Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in... But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue. These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe, but it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter, and God, that madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. But what did he do with it all afterward? Did he really keep all the pieces? Nobody... Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murder, and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. I don't even know what colour it was. Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer... Just some scratches and bruises, that's all.
Why couldn't you have been more careful?
The killer probably surprised her. So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. She's missing parts of... He also cut off most of her hair. He cut off her breasts, but left her tongue. Then left her lying there for all to see. Only if it was a warning for telltales. I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think...
Mind where you're going.
Are you Barbara?
Alice, she was almost... Why'd you ask?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid... Do you know of any suit?
I know,
I'd like to talk to him.
but I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed...
And you never saw him?
No, never.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying...
Do you know what exactly...
No, one day she just didn't come home.
It's awful. What...
She was such a pretty... Emma didn't... Who could have cut off her hair like that?
How did Alice get along with your man?
Fine. Our master is a bit strict. But
What's his name?
why? But you can't see him anyway.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
He couldn't. He was gone. And besides, why?
I heard about that.
Well, if you're in, maybe you'll catch him sober enough to talk sense.
So... Lumiere?
Oh, Christ, mate.
I need to ask...
I said not so loud.
That's some hangover. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some... This should sober... No, not that. This should sober him up. No. Nothing like a little hair.
More boo.
Drink up.
Wait, what?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl.
To me?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat House?
I used to be.
They say that about you.
Because I was just on some... And what came of it?
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now.
Poor girls. We let it be in the end? No way.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he...
A friend, eh? I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? What makes you think you can find out more than...
Because I'm stubborn. And I don't have any other choice.
You think that will...
If not, I'd have been dead long ago.
Who was this dead...
Her name was Alice.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid, too.
I think that he strangled her first.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled. If it's not all the same person, they must be...
This is the 6th one. How long has it been?
Probably about a year. Sometimes it takes him months. Sometimes weeks. but I'm including...
Did the dead girls have any...
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor and nobody will miss...
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord...
But why does he even kill in the first...
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going...
Why were you looking into it?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years... Gutenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver... The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades. From one rich...
But there are more than just rich burgers.
Exactly. There are common folk, too. There's a lot... So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere...
Behind the bailiff's...
Not really. Andreas supported...
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Did you have any suspects?
You can always find some. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And...
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act.
What can you tell me about...
She wasn't the first. She was a maid in a German family. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the church of St. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the two girls before. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't... And his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of... That really surprised me. Because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own. And the
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but... The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him.
So if I want to learn anything more... And what about that Zdena?
Exactly. But to tell the truth, no. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Live. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found...
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth it. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory.
And what about the other...
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really... But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling. She knew she was pretty, and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found...
Interesting.
In the graveyard, lad. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about...
Can you sum it...
We have 6 victims here. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised... The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies... They both hung around a tavern they called the... And the last victim is... What they all have in common...
Good.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you...
Well then,
Does the poor thing still not know?
Poor thing. It's our fault for being so sick. How about you go somewhere else?
What do you want?
I would like to atone for...
I appreciate your efforts, but I'd rather have real sinners
There's always...
behind old Lahota, by the stream side. A conciliation. Pray for their memory and regain.
What penance do you give me?
Bless yourself and say the Lord's Prayer.
It's time. Father,
I don't have time.
that's not why I'm here. My name... Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her...
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you...
Somebody is murdering maids here.
Yes, but those poor...
I don't want revenge. I want to stop more killing.
True enough.
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. What can you tell me about?
About Yarka.
Where did you know Yarka?
I knew her since...
And?
I was.
Who do you think...
William, that pig of Satan. Yarka always went there to...
Why do you think it was William?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser.
And does anyone else come to mind?
No.
You raised her?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not...
How...
When she was small, I could.
What is the
Yes. And what does a yokel know about decency?
Why don't you respect...
That's my business. I won't tell you.
Come now.
Those who guard the...
Come on, this is a really... You can trust me.
That's just what a person I shouldn't...
Fine. I've heard enough.
Son?
Through the same Christ our Lord.
Noch ein Köter. What did I do to you?
Okay, come and take a look. Muslin, marching.
Here, Mutt. Look what I have for you.
Why don't you go somewhere else? For good, ideally.
I swear I won't be able to stop you.
Are you blind?
Greetings to you.
Did it stun you?
Stun ya? It depends on who.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. The main thing, what kind of guest are...
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By the fact he spends...
Aye. I like to... So, what'll it...
What if I simply paid? I want to know if Stanya works here.
She did.
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find...
It's possible. The chamber she was asleep, the door open. Everything emptied out.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer.
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. I prefer to be called an enterprising... So, what...
I don't want to pay you. I think you could answer my question. That makes it look like you might have some motive for keeping me from finding out anything.
Nonsense. Ask me anything.
Did anybody see what actually happened when...
No, it was at night. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour. And you won't meet...
What was Stanya like?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't...
Someone from the city?
No. A charcoal burner. I think his name was...
What do you know about...
What about him? He called himself William, as far as I know.
You think he might...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while. I know he met with some odd people and talked about... Besides, you know what minstrels are like. Lasses just...
Or in this case... Apart from those men, did it... I mean...
Well, I got bad...
Why?
One was hit by a... and the other one got...
How did Stanya's room...
The door was wide open. Most of...
Blood?
Not so much, really. More like hand or footprints. If someone done her in, they definitely didn't...
Where can I find this box?
I already told you.
Could you be a bit more precise?
I don't know that bloke at all. So if I was you, I'd look somewhere around...
That's all I need to know. Are you
Who the fuck are you?
just an ordinary
Well, then piss off. All you're gonna get here. Cockpuller! You swine! I yield! Mercy!
Well,
Fuck yeah, damn it.
talk.
The last time everyone was fucking jealous. She just needed to...
And where did she go with her loot?
Well, she had some kind of arrangement with this fella called Pint from the...
Do you remember what she managed...
Mainly jewels, gold. She had some fucking huge golden signet ring.
Do you know whose crest was on it?
I don't know, I'm no expert. But it were...
Do you know who she took?
She always said she found it. That's because if the wrong ears hear it, you can end up in...
Did she hang out with any men?
She liked to hang around with that crooner that plays for... Made him sing songs and... Oh, and once she got in a quarrel with that fucking priest Proc...
Could she have run away?
I doubt it. He tried to be all mysterious and play the tough fella. But you could see he was lying.
Why do you think so?
Because he was getting on my nerves. So I cornered him in a dark alley one time. He ran away...
And what about this priest?
I don't know. He was blabbering some shit.
You hungry beast.
Thanks for the herbal brew you sent me. My shoulder's feeling...
Apparently... Look out.
The Lord sees you.
It's William, right?
What is it?
My name's Henry. And no, we don't know each other. We have a lot of
What? I don't have to talk to you.
Well, you don't have to, that's true. But you should. It's in your own best interest. If you don't start giving me some answers right now, because I'll break all your fingers, and you'll never play the lute again.
What?
Stop whining and talk.
Come on, ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alice's.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the...
They say she had a rich young suitor.
Me?
But you could at least pass yourself off.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but...
And did you ever meet... It was a long time ago, but I heard...
Oh, that one.
Because somebody killed...
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me.
And can you tell me anything?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago.
And I hear you knew...
Which one do you...
The alehouse wench from the...
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times.
And the innkeeper Mole told me...
Fine, we had a bit of...
And aren't you just saying that because she left you?
Oh, come on! I could have... The innkeeper must have got it mixed up. He's an old drunkard. If I was you, I wouldn't take him too...
And what about Zdena?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life.
Did she steal something?
A travelling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout.
You don't happen to know who she wanted?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who... Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got him right. As far as I know, she didn't succeed. If she robbed a noble like von Groller... Look, why are you asking me? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well...
And? I'm surely not the only...
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a scur... And now...
But I had nothing to do with it!
So you didn't do anything?
No! Why would I? What would I get out of it? It doesn't make any sense. It goes...
You dare invite...
I admit, I'm no saint, but for Christ's sake...
Good. But if any clue leads me back here to you, I won't...
You won't hear about me again, I swear.
Isn't it a bit early for that?
Another mongrel.
It's ages till St. Wenceslas Day, and they don't collect tithes before then.
You're right. but I promised myself I wouldn't leave it till the last moment this year. So, have you got any ideas?
Well, if I did.
Are you blind or just your horse?
Quick! Ka! Quick! Quick!